as much as you can or would like to, could you just describe the team meeting last night, what Draymond said, just kind of the setting of it, and how influential you felt it was?
It was just a level of awareness that matters at this stage of our careers and this stage in, a playoff series that was going our way, then got away from us, and comes down to a game 7 where it's all about just what can you control going into a game 7. That'll give yourself the best chance to, win a game on the road, and educating a lot of guys that haven't been in this situation before on what to expect and what wins, in this environment. And Draymond started with himself, just talking about having a level of poise and composure. I talked about some of the stuff we can control that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet, like taking care of the ball, but like not missing box outs, not getting blown by, middle drive, stuff like that, game plan discipline. And Jimmy talked about just, he's going to breathe confidence in everybody. So it's just a matter of getting everybody on the same page going into a hostile environment.
Steph, now that the series is over, is there anything that you could tell Jalen to help him going into the offseason, coming out of his first playoff series like this?
Every opportunity at this stage is a learning experience. I don't know what goes on in their locker room or what he's asked to do or how they talk, so I stay in my lane on that. But, there's always a chance to come back stronger, better, use the off season to be honest with yourself on what you need to do to get better. We all go through that journey in your career. Losing sometimes can make you better, so you just don't let it knock your confidence.
Steph, he was their leading scorer coming into the series. How were y'all able to slow him down and make things difficult for him?
For who?
For Jalen. He was their leading scorer. How were y'all able to slow him down and make things difficult for him?
I think, there's just game plan discipline. They have a lot of threats out there, and, again, they were a 2 seed for a reason because they had a certain style that their defense fed into their offense a lot. But for him specifically, it wasn't anything, out of the ordinary. Just he demands attention, so you want to try to send bodies at him as much as possible. Fred got hot those 2 games. That really, got them kind of settled, and he was a legit scorer for him. Obviously, Sengun's going to do what he does, but if you don't let them have easy baskets, then you try to kind of feast on a little bit of inexperience, but you never know how it's going to go.
Steph, y'all played the Rockets 12 times this year between the regular season and the postseason, and probably every time you've been asked about their defense. But now that this season is over with, can you speak to the uniqueness of the challenge that they face and the adjustments you had to make from game to game going against them?
Every game was so different. It was all 12 of them. I mean, from the rotations to the score, it was low scoring for a majority of them. Then it became a shooting fest, and this game was kind of like the back to that pattern of a low scoring, just defensive, physical, tough, grinded out type of game. So it was, I can only speak for myself in the way that that was one of the toughest defenses I think I've ever faced, in the sense of the physicality that was allowed early in the series, and then their commitment to just trying to take away all the patterns that we usually thrive off of and guard me at half court at times. It was wild. But just staying patient but still being aggressive was the difference tonight. I only had 3 points in the first half and like 5 shots, but eventually I'm trying to make the right play and soften them up, and eventually, you can make your presence felt scoring-wise, but everything else was about just trying to make winning plays.
Steph, 2 questions for you. First one, how difficult was it to kind of play that floor game. Last time you were in a game 7, you just took like 30 shots you were going for. But this one, it seems like you were pretty patient. Was that difficult to pull off?
No, because kind of to the last question, I knew how they were going to guard me, and if I tried to play hero ball too early and it didn't, shots didn't fall, then it could kill our rhythm. Honestly, my whole goal was to only have one turnover. Literally, that was all I was thinking about, because I knew that meant I didn't have to, I wouldn't get rushed or get into traps. We usually are going to have an open shot somewhere, or somebody diving to the basket based on the gravity that was out there, and it kind of played off that way. I missed a couple, maybe 2 easy ones in the first half, and then you start thinking about your shot a little bit. But you look up at the score, and we're doing what we're supposed to do. So it was definitely kind of reinforced, keep playing that way, and eventually I'll find some open looks. But we were scoring fine, and then just get stops and play defense.
Secondarily, you've won 5 series now in Houston. What you think your reputation is in the city?
I'm a winner.
Steph, all that you've been through with Draymond in your 13 years, it looked like at the end of the game you walked up to him and pointed into maybe the stands or up at the scoreboard. What can you share what you said to him? And then also when you guys were walking off, I think Draymond was screaming, "Surprise, surprise."
We were just talking about, it was back to the score. We wanted to keep them under 90. We had done it a couple times and we won. And if we felt very confident that if we could do that again, we'd be able to score enough to create some separation, and that's kind of how it played out.
So much of what Draymond was talking about was about how he lost his poise in Game 6. How important will it be for him to kind of straddle that line against the Wolves, who have Gobert, who have Ant, who likes to talk, who have a bunch of guys who will play physically?
No better lesson than tonight. Make it about basketball. He doesn't need to be a mute and not talk and be demonstrative. We want that type of Draymond, but conserve the energy towards us, our huddles. Even when he had that kind of mix up with Van Vliet, he didn't react, go talk to the refs, try to plead his case. It didn't go his way. It was an unfortunate call, but he kept it about basketball. And we're going to have to continue to do that, knowing the minutes we're playing and the tough test that Minnesota is going to present in the way that they've been playing.
Steph, you've been through a number of Game 7s. When you think back to your first one, what's the biggest difference between you then and you now? Is it a concentration, being able to sustain concentration for 48 minutes, keeping your nerves down? What's the maturation process like now?
Yeah, it's just reps and experience and know-how. That first one against the Clippers back in 2014, we were up at the half, and we were feeling good about ourselves, and then we kind of got walked down by just physical, kind of hard-nosed basketball, and that was kind of the nature of that whole series. It was very similar to this one. And just fully committing to every possession. That was something we did tonight, that we needed every 50-50 ball. We needed, to keep them off the offensive glass, keep our turnovers down. We only had 3 turnovers in the first half. It was just simple things that you can control. Obviously, Buddy had an amazing, first half and took advantage of the space and knocked down shots. But everything else that we could control, we did and checked off the boxes, and that allows you to withstand runs and a hostile environment on the road. Say what? Yeah. Talent, skill. It's something that either it comes naturally or you go through reps and you start to figure it out, how you can manage a game mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's all a part of, the game of basketball. It's the stuff that you see, in between the lines. And for 2 games, we didn't have it. The clear as day, the first possession of the fourth quarter in Game 6, that was a lack of awareness and focus. And then tonight was the exact opposite. So we took advantage of another opportunity.
Steph, we kind of joked about it before the series started, but now that the series is over and you went to war against him for 7 games, how much more respect does the camp coach have for his former camper in Amen Thompson?
I talked to him right after the game. Like, you kind of saw him develop in front of everybody's eyes. I know people who watch the Rockets play, night in, night out for the last 2 years have seen the potential, seen the raw athleticism, the hunger, and he's a dog. And he showed all 7 games. And he's going to be a problem for sure. He's going to try to develop his game, especially offensively. But defensively, he's a freak athlete, and I think he loves the challenge and loves to be in the fight. So, yeah, he was tough all series, and it's kind of crazy that the old man, got it done though.
Steph, Draymond had the talk last night. You had a memorable speech before the Sacramento Game 7. This is not the first time you've won a Game 7 here. How familiar does this feel? Is it like what you guys do? You guys are able to pull it together maybe in different ways in moments like this, in familiar ways.
Yeah, we're thankful to be able to say that because we've had the way we came into it was another opportunity that we should be thankful for, considering all the things that we've gone through our entire, this entire run, and that we're still trying to do it. So you can tell that there's such a care factor for every guy on this team, and it starts with me, Draymond, Looney, who's been here with us, and now obviously with Jimmy and his playoff experience. And so we're going to have to rely on that as long as this ride continues. And the familiar part is, figuring out the chessboard in between a series and sticking with it, not letting go of the rope, and being able to turn the page from one game to the next and meet the moment. It's so much fun out there. I think that's what we talked about to our guys the most, was just there's no more fun that you can experience in basketball than a playoff series, especially if it goes the distance. So embrace it.
Steph, as a shooter who knows that zone, what was it like to see Buddy get in that, especially given his sort of unique personality on this team? And did it bring back any flashbacks of, I don't know, Game 6 Clay, or when you've seen Clay take over playoff games like that, to shoot the way he did with no dribbling, right? Just catch and shoot.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the game called for, and he answered it. Like, to be able to turn the page from, again, 0 for 4 last game, been up and down all series. He probably tell you this is the first time you played well in this building, so it was great and timely to be able to have that shooter's confidence that, if the game says shoot, you let it fly, and we're gonna live with it, and I'm happy for him because he works so hard all year. Getting to know him this whole season, you see how much basketball means to him, and this is only his second playoff run, and for him to have a game like that in a Game 7, and he tied a record for most threes, and it's pretty special. So I'm happy for him. Now we got to keep it going.
What do you expect from Anthony Edwards in facing Minnesota?
I mean, he watched a little bit of their first round series. He's playing with supreme confidence. We know, they had their run last year, and they're a new look with Randall, but same Ant who's trying to take strides with every opportunity he gets, and it's going to be a tough challenge. We know you're gonna have to send multiple bodies at him and figure out a game plan to go at him, but. Yeah, they're hot right now. They've been playing some great basketball the last couple of months, and we're excited that we have an opportunity to have some more basketball to play too.
Thank you.
Can you please?
Well, I guess what can you say about Buddy's performance tonight?
Buddy gets paid a lot of money to play at a high level. Buddy was Buddy tonight. Good for you, Buddy. Good for you. No, Buddy was huge. But we know the type of basketball player that he is, and he's a tough cover for sure whenever he's making shots. But he made so many right plays on the defensive side of the ball, getting the ball where it needed to go. Buddy was really, really, really big for us tonight.
What did you see from Draymond today? Draymond talked about how he took accountability for, I guess, how he was in Game 6, and he made a speech at the pregame dinner. I was wondering what did you see?
I just saw Dre being Dre, staying poised, not let all the nonsense get to him, expecting what's going to happen. I think that was the biggest thing for him, not letting any of that get him out of character, compete, stay in the game, and be the anchor for us on the defensive side of the floor. And then make some big shots, start us off the right way, and control the offensive side as well.
Jimmy, Buddy had said that team meeting was, he called it emotional, but he credited your leadership, Steph and Draymond, with really getting him to lock in and everybody else. What did you say, and what was it like going through your first Game 7 with Draymond and Steph?
It's a pleasure to be able to compete in a Game 7 on the road with those two Hall of Famers. And, my message to my guys was I wasn't being who I was in a sense of pumping confidence into my guys. I think that's a part of my leadership that I've learned and gained throughout my years of playing this game at a high level. And I wasn't doing that for the first 6 games. So I wanted to make sure to let them know that I was going to let you know everything was going to be fine. We're right where we wanted to be. And I think I got back to being who I'm supposed to be.
How much did you guys need? It seemed like the last couple of games showed you really needed a secondary shooter, someone besides you and Steph to be making those shots the way Buddy did tonight. From beyond your entertaining byplay with him, strategically, how much did you need that, and what allowed that? Was there more space for him tonight, or?
No, I think we actually rebounded the ball better. We got to the loose balls. It's easier to score whenever you get the opportunity to shoot the ball at that side of the floor. We didn't turn the ball over. All of that plays a role in Buddy having a game that he did and guys being able to make shots at the clip that we did. So as long as we get the ball, secure the rebound, play in transition, it gets easier for everybody.
Jimmy, Fred VanVleet had been an issue for y'all the last few games. What was it about tonight, or how did y'all defend him differently tonight? Draymond was in here talking about him earlier, but how much of a focus was he for y'all, and what were y'all able to do against him tonight?
Fred's a tough cover, along with a lot of guys on that roster, but I think it's just making everything difficult, contesting every shot, not losing him in transition or in the half court, and then rebounding the basketball. Whenever you don't rebound and they're kicking it out and you're walking into open threes, the basket gets bigger for anybody in this league. So I think we did a good job of controlling that.
This is your first time through with these guys. You mentioned obviously Draymond and Steph, and put Kerr in there too. He's been through with some of these, and Draymond said that after Game 6, Kerr put it on himself that he didn't have you guys prepared. What's it just been like to go through it with that kind of accountability from those 3 guys?
I think that's what real leaders do. They always try to take all the burden, but that's not the case. Steve can't control if we're not getting the loose balls. He can tell us, but we're the ones that have to go out there and do it. He can draw up all the plays that he wants, but we're the ones that have to go out there and execute and play hard. But the fact that he's willing to take that for the guys is huge. Same with Draymond, same with Steph, same with myself, actually. There's so many guys on this roster. So, we just talked about controlling what we can control, go out there and compete, and we know if we do that, we will win a game.
Jimmy, obviously Steph only had 3 points in the first half, but he still was leading in defensive rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. How do you explain his impact when his shots aren't falling, also knowing that he could go off at any time?
Yeah, I think that's a true definition of I don't even know what you call it. The best player, one of the greatest, is that they impact the game in more than just scoring or shooting. So to be able to guard, to be able to rebound, to find guys when they're open, it's a hard job for him because he always got 3 people that's on him, and he's always making the right play over and over and over again. But we needed it, and then when it was time for him to make some shots, we needed it, and he came through.
You haven't had time to stop thinking about this game, but you've got you going back to Minnesota, second round series. Just what comes to your mind about this series, about this challenge? Obviously, quick turnaround for game one.
Honestly, I got to like midnight to enjoy this win, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll focus on Minnesota come after midnight. But I'm worried about how I'm going to get my coffee machine to Minnesota and how I'm going to get my kids there.
Jimmy, Draymond was in here earlier. He said that this series actually made him a better player. Just curious, is there anything that you're going to take into the next series that you might have picked up from playing this team?
I'm going to take how resilient we are as a group. Coming from where they were, post-trade before I got here, and the way that everybody locked in and made me feel welcome, and we took off this way. And we never wavered. The confidence never went anywhere. Really good group of hoopers, really good group of people. So that's what I'm going to take into this next round is we got some guys that can play at an extremely high level. And on any given night, it could be anybody's night.
So much of the series was about you and Draymond battling their, double center lineup. You've been with Draymond now a few months, seeing, 6'5", 6'6", maybe. What, more appreciation do you have for what he physically has done over the last decade as basically a center?
A lot. But he's been doing that since he came into the league. What I respect more than anything is the way, like, he can talk to anybody and everybody, and it's so, like, on point, and it's quick. Like, the fact that he can tell me, hey, that's 2 loose balls you didn't get, no more. And I'm like, you're right. Or you talk to Steph, and you can talk to BP and whoever it is, and it's like, you don't got to repeat it, I got it. Like, I didn't know, and I respect it so much now that he'll talk to anybody and everybody quick, to the point, because it's all about winning. So all the battles that he goes through, it's his leadership quality of, like, getting to the point and moving on that I respect the most.
How would you qualify how physical this series was for you and him down there?
Very physical. More so for him because he got to switch. He got to battle both of the bigs. Only got to battle, the big a couple of times, and I get to move out there to the guards. But all of that physicality ended with 4 wins for us, so we're happy.